like your space with a bunch of people that you think is making you happy. Shit. Imagine being.
Hey everybody. I'm a minute early, mostly because this is going to go a little over and I'm trying to keep it at 90 minutes. And thank you to episode 2 of my morning show. This is going to be happening Monday through Friday for right now. Might change it up. Might do it once a week. Is 98 days until the election. So I'm doing what I can to be nice. Also, I do accept donations, as you can see below via the ticker. And it's hot. My air conditioning bill gonna be sky high. So I don't want to be hot. So please consider a lovely donation to someone who doesn't want to be hot. And if you're saying like, yo, Mira, you got it, why would I donate? Hey, don't be a dick. Just be nice, you know? $10, $15. Donate to people that are trying to like do something. Please. I'm a Black-owned business. And since everybody cares about that now, guilt trip. I started off this morning's show with that video because much like I mentioned yesterday, and hopefully if you tuned into Chloe Across America yesterday, we owe Meg Thee Stallion an apology. I'll get to that. But first, I'm going to start with our first segment, which is Moment of Gratitude. Meditation works. So I became a big time meditator shortly after the year like 2013. My meditation trainer at the time, Gina, would come to my crib and I would gather some people together and we would do like meditation cycling every Monday, which was really kind of cool. And, you know, for me, it's been one of the things that's gotten me really far open during this time of whatever we're in. And it's been really, really crucial to think about meditation in the way of giving yourself space and stillness. Now, for people that think that when you meditate, you're going to float and you're not going to hear any voices in your head or anything like that, that's not true. So I really do not like the whole self-help meditation movement as to how they perpetuate the like, if you meditate, you're going to be perfect and you're going to be like this and it's going to be like that. That's not how it works. My particular practice is transcendental, but, you know, like, just give yourself some time to relax. It's cool. 10 minutes, align. There's different types of meditation, but given that we're going to end up back in the house soon, because y'all don't know how to act here in the tri-state area, and because America is still #1 in being ridiculous, you got to be able to figure out what's going to keep you centered. So I'm gracious for this gift of meditation. I encourage everyone to please consider it. It really can make a difference. And if you want to hit me up via DM, I'm totally down to talk about that. I'm also going to ask my best friends to please stop texting me notes of encouragement while I'm filming. I know you're watching. Stop. You win. You got it. You're being supported. Before I get into more Meg Thee Stallion stuff, I do want to get into news you need to know. Now, this is a new segment I thought of because I think that there's some things we just got to talk about real quick. As a family, as a group, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. I had over 1,000 views yesterday. Doesn't mean that you stuck around for it. So if you found it boring, let me know. If you're sticking around, I really appreciate you. I'd stick around for you. We got to talk about this, y'all. So we're not in a second wave. This is still the first wave across the country. And if you want to hear more about this first sentence, which is coronavirus, is a second lockdown underway, I encourage you to go to a podcast from National Public Radio, NPR, called Up First. It'll give you the news, everything throughout the day, 13 to 15 minutes tops. I got rid of TV in my home November 5th, 2015, when your boy got elected. So I have, by my own will, not watched whatever y'all got talking about with this man on TV since then. Even when I see TV, I'm like, oh gosh, I used to rock with this. What was I doing? I do watch 90 Day Fiancé on the Xfinity, so I can watch people make worse decisions than me and feel better about my life, because that's all I do. That's my own little therapy that I'm doing it for. But I do want to talk about news we need to know. So I'm going to just show this to y'all so y'all are aware of why we got to talk about how you and your cousins in Hampton is making this a problem for everybody. And, like, everybody always wants to blame people. We take accountability here, folks, but what's happening here? What now I want to give context to this, because this is important. This is from a show in Southampton. And the New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, was pretty much like, what are y'all doing? Y'all, look, I've been up through Dykeman, okay? With the bike crew that I ride with most often, which is the Outsiders. I've gone up through Dykeman, and I've seen, and Dykeman, for people that really want to know how I feel, is definitely the land of I know black guy Dominican. But I've been to the Lower East Side. I've been on 125th. I've been up through Lenox. Like, ain't nobody got a clean record racially on doing this way. So I don't want to be back in the house like that because y'all don't know how to act like adults. I don't feel like it. That's not what I want to do. So, there are so many Black-owned businesses that are finding ways to thrive by turning, I've seen some outdoor seating contraptions made that are pretty, like, I'm very, very happy for you. And the idea of it being a little New Orleans-y back in June, with just getting your margarita and being on the street, kind of fun. But y'all, like, the accountability has to be here. And, I as a Crohn's fighter patient am very extra about making sure I'm good. Even if you invite me to your home, and there are people that can document this, I'll come in and clean off your counters with my own wipes that I brought from my house to make sure that things are good to go. I wash my car every week. Like, I'm in my car wiping. Even Joaquin Washington, the blackest trainer name I've ever heard in my life, has seen me wipe down my own mat during my own workouts. Like, I'm on a whole other level with this. Y'all, like I get it, but no, I don't. So if you want these measly ass GOP proposed plans of $200 measly stinking dollars, Like a week? Like, come on now. Again, election's 98 days away. Like, let's not end up back in the house. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts that this MFer is going to end up back in office. So I got a whole situation that I'm worried about on top of that. Also, shout out to Tracy Cooper, a real one. We're going to have her on the show talking about being a caretaker, because that's something I have experience with. Thank you, sis. But, yo, like, I'm going to have y'all look this news up. I'm not going to spend my time begging y'all to look up the news. Like, stop. Like, don't wear your mask around your wrist. Don't wear your mask here like it's an earring. Don't wear your mask under your chin. Wash your people even their hands no more. That's nasty. And I truly think, people talk about Detroit and how we are. We don't. There's just some things I've seen that I did not see in the 90s as a youth in the city of Detroit. So I'm not here to bash New York. I do reside here. I've been in and out of here 13 years. But like, man, like, I don't know. Okay. So just take it seriously. And now we're going to get to Just Admit It. And I'm going to bring up this sister's photo because I want y'all to really hear me. I really hope that my special guest, Kathy, hops on right now. Y'all owe Meg Thee Stallion an apology. Yes. We got to talk, right? Here's why we have to talk. So this sister got shot at twice by a 5'3" Tory Lanez. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Tory Lanez, when the quarantine started, he was doing his quarantine radio thing. He was one of the first to get a good YouTube live content deal. We as a community was like, you know what? This Tory Lanez fellow, he might be doing something. Let's give him a chance. So, I don't know what situation popped off to where you thought you should shoot anybody in the feet. But I wouldn't really talk about, we really played this girl. It's messed up how we did this. It's messed up how everybody made fun of her. It's messed up that we don't take vulnerability seriously. And I just want to kind of give y'all a little history of Meg Thee Stallion, and even why this is a little personal for me. As some people know, I lost my mother the day before Thanksgiving, 2015. I lost my father in 2007, the day of my birthday. He overdosed. Meg lost her grandmother and her mom in the same year. And her ashe must be on fire, because as soon as they went up, her career went like this. And if y'all don't know what ashe means, look it up. Kathy is in the green room I know what it means. And Kathy probably will lean into this too, so I'm going to have her join in after I make this statement. But when Black women of certain complexions, if I'm seeing the trend is getting real obvious, and it shouldn't be a situation where a sister who is 5'10" and viewed as whenever y'all want to view as a sex bot, when something like this happens, it turns into jokes. That's a problem. And seeing her cry yesterday, I broke out in tears because this sister clearly learned a hard lesson. And, you know, she's accountable for what she has to take responsibility for, which if you watched her interview, she admitted that. But I want to talk about why we do this to women, period. And why we do it to women that are either of larger sizes or of darker hues. And I'm going to have Kathy jump in on this. I was going to save her for the Juicy J Nas conversation because that's the wildest thing I've heard in my life. So we need to have a hip hop writer jump into this. But Kathy, I'm about to hop you in. Welcome.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. You know, I wasn't going to make this a big focus for today, but I gotta, because you and I as team, damn, our mama's gone.
And my grandma and Pisces, yes.
And Pisces, right? We, you know, leaning into this and understanding like what it is to realize that your mothers and ancestors is driving all these universal things around you is a special spiritual connection that I'm very happy that I'm aware of. I'm very sure that my mom is making up for not being the most visible and active parent, and her PR game is pretty fire in the afterlife right now. Right. And you and I have even talked about how your mom went right to work. You know, like
sure did. Right.
So, you know, as a white woman who is very aware of her whiteness and not out here being like, you know, not aware of that, from a hip hop perspective, why did we do this like this? What the fuck is wrong with our vulnerability towards Black women when it comes to the hip hop perspective?
Well, I think, you know, if we look at the timeline of the last, like, let's say 40 years in hip hop history, when a woman is at the top of her game, everyone looks for little holes to be able to knock them down a couple of pegs. This happened with Nicki Minaj. This happened with Lauryn Hill. This happened with Lil' Kim. And I think now it's happening with Megan Thee Stallion. It happened in a really unfortunate way where the tiniest bit of scandal that actually didn't really involve her, involve physical violence. But as soon as there was an opportunity to put her in a different position other than the top, everyone just kind of dove in. A similar thing happened, you know, when I was thinking about all the memes that started to circulate with this Megan thing, I was thinking about the Super Bowl when Beyonce performed. And everyone was so against it. And then there was a couple of photos that Beyonce didn't like of herself at the Super Bowl. And the meme was, Beyonce doesn't like these photos that were taken. Make sure you share them with everyone. And that was the meme. It was like, and she was just, I mean, she was really just like gyrating and her expressions, just those kinds of outtakes that when we look at photos, we're like, don't ever post that, right? So there was those pictures and it was like, Beyonce doesn't want these, so hurry up and circulate them. Because at that time, Beyonce was finally being recognized as an icon. I think a similar thing happened with Meg, because while everyone's in quarantine, Savage is skyrocketing. She's probably one of the first artists who jumped into the TikTok craze. The TikTok craze didn't jump into her, right? Like, she utilized it as a real platform to bring joy to people, right? While everyone was worried about whether or not
similar to Bobby Shmurda with Vine.
Yes.
Yes.
So while everyone was worrying about their family members getting coronavirus or them getting coronavirus, she's bringing a level of joy where people are dancing. You've got like Jessica Alba doing it on camera. And Meg was at this point where it was like, wow, you know, she's getting there. She's approaching iconic. And as soon as that happened, there was just enough room to go in and minimize her. And I think yesterday I watched that video or the live, and I felt it so hard because, you know, I interviewed Meg for my book, God Save the Queens. I spoke to Meg a month after she lost her mother and 2 months after I lost mine, right? Mm-hmm. And we were kind of having this weird conversation of, it was a weird moment, right? I don't know her. She doesn't know me. But I was interviewing her about her being next, right? This was in 2019. So we're having this conversation, and Tina Snow had already come out, and she was just there. She was already going to be on the freshman cover. Nobody knew. And I was at that shoot where she just blasted everyone with her freestyle. But we kind of had this weird moment because I have this book coming out. She has this album coming out, and we're just like, our best friends aren't here, right? And I'm not sure what Meg's belief system is. You know, I think there's a lot of people who, when they lose parents, they're like, I know so-and-so is watching me. I don't know what the extent is of that belief for her, right? But what I do know is that yesterday I saw a girl who missed her mother and wanted to be able to have her mother say, don't listen to them. Because that's the only person you really listen to when they say, don't listen to them, right? So just watching that unfold on Instagram Live, it was heartbreaking because I felt it, right? And I know you felt it too. Like there's this thing where when good things happen, you're like, well, now who do I share them with, right? And people saying, well, that's your mom at work. Yeah, but my mom's not here to celebrate with, right? So hearing Meg talk from this position of pain, that just killed me, but also just made me realize that it's just so easy for the world to kind of dive in when they see a Black woman showing her strength and getting stronger and just rising, and then just swooping in and doing something about it. And she's not going to stop. And I think that's the best part about it, right?
I think that, you know, and you and I, the conversations we've had, people would be like, I just want women to be protected and safe, mm-hmm. you know? And I think that, you know, part of my grieving process and sharing a lot of those sentiments with you was like, you know, when you lose your like unconditional team supporter, you know, there's a lot that comes with that self-acceptance. But something as traumatic as being shot in the feet, and watching the world make fun of you. I don't understand where we are as humanity. But, you know, we also are all the same human beings that, you know, that DJ and Nas makes sense. So I'm trying not to cry, so I'm about to go right to the next topic, which is, what the fuck is wrong with people? How, like, now, don't want to be a controversial starter, but everybody should know Nas didn't write all his own lyrics. But that aside, if you put together the whole collection of 3 6 Mafia and Juicy J's production, which he has done, you know, in what world does this make sense?
In a world where everyone is in quarantine and it's like you take a bag of names and you just start shaking them and then you throw them out on the ground, I think, and figure out the names. I was confused when I saw, I was like, oh wait, Juicy J and Nas? Oh, okay. Like, you know, and it's like you're squinting because you want to read it differently, right? But I also have to remember, right, that I'm not from Memphis. So maybe he's the Memphis Nas.
Girl, out, you know.
I don't know. The thing is,
I'm not from Detroit, and I will defend No Limit Records to the day I die for valid reasons that people may be open to or may not be open to.
Right.
Most people from Detroit will defend No Limit Records and the entire No Limit catalog for a lot of valid reasons. And also, most Detroiters are naturally too fans. I'll make the rules here. These are facts.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to understand, and Kim Nicky spoke about this yesterday. Like music, like what are we hearing? Like what? Like
he might be playing. If you think about, okay, so the thing that I'm learning about these versus battles too is that there are no rules, right?
Right.
Like Snoop and DMX, they're like, oh, dogs, right? And you know, what were they gonna do? Bring in Bow Wow too? Like it was just like
I think DMX was gonna win straight up. Well, I had my money on.
I mean, and that was like a beautiful battle, right? Like that was just like
it was.
Like chef's kiss, right? But if the rules are every track you touched, right? Then Juicy J might have a bigger catalog than we imagine, right? Because I think about like the Scott Storch battle with Manny Fresh.
That got really personal and a little rude.
I know.
That was a really rude battle. And Manny was out of line. And people really ignored the Scott Storch before the Roots. Let's not just start there. If you're really a music hip hop head,
right,
we can go a little bit deeper on Scotty, and you can even go into Scotty's R&B situation too. You can even go into the fact that folks thought Neo would beat Johntá Austin. In what world that makes sense, don't know.
Right.
But you know, I hope someone from Versus is watching this, because please don't do this.
Well, you know, I think we're all, entertainment is obsessed with this notion of make sure you give them their flowers, right? That's become the new thing, right? As soon as the giving people their flowers, right? And there's a lot of like retro pay in that regard. I feel like all of the wonderful things being given to Missy Elliott now, right? The whole like, oh, she's finally getting her flowers. You know, this whole give me my flowers. That was the sentiment that I got from Manny Fresh, right? Like he was trying to hold up the whole flower shop in that battle because, you know, you had an hour to just sit there. And then, you know, Scott Storch is like, cry me a river. And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, you know. So I think the thing is with Juicy J specifically, I think he's done a lot for music, a lot for hip hop.
We definitely have.
First group to get an Oscar, you know, there's a lot there. But I think it's that part where, you know, give him his flowers. I feel like Nas is always getting his flowers.
You're right. That's a valid point.
A similar one is Usher and Chris Brown.
We talked about that yesterday.
Right. Yeah. But I think that's the other thing too. Also, we have to remember that there's a lot of younger kids who are still screaming Taylor Gang who know Juicy J way more than they know Nas. So their OG is Juicy J, not Nas. Right?
Nas is not in my top 15.
Right. Because
even with that, I know that this doesn't make a lot of sense. I know somebody's going to get mad at me and DM me and say I'm crazy. Totally fine. I have a lot of opinions y'all don't like. I think chicken is overrated, but you know what?
You know, my other argument is Versus is built for old people who needed something to do while they're at home. Young kids are young kids are at house parties catching corona and bringing it home to their parents. Like we're we're home watching a versus battle. We're sitting here sadly on our laptops. Like, I hope Jada Kiss plays that song I like, while some 20-year-old is catching the coronavirus at a 700-person house party, right?
Which is why we're going into this next segment, which you and I definitely can align with. So everybody, just so you fully are aware, when Corona hit, Kathy and I got our prepared game on. We was reading the Reddit and the news in the January and February. We are not playing no games here. Kathy has intimate experience dealing with people that have had autoimmune issues and transition. I have those experiences as well. But, you know, we called each other when this first broke out, and we was like, literally, as you know, Kathy has said later in a conversation after that, this is our Super Bowl. This is the perfect
is
for Pisces who worry for no reason, which is us,
right?
To be in the element of this moment.
This is our day. We had our moment.
Time. All that time y'all thought we was tripping. Now you're tripping, and we're like, well, we're good. We told you. So, you know, I really want to talk about, you know, this is a black, white, candy stripe issue. Why do we want to, like, why don't, I'm getting invited to parties. We're getting invited to parties. People are like, Corona's over. You're like, no, it's not, bro. So what is happening from a psychological standpoint, just given how we are not beating this situation in the US? And according to Kim Nicky yesterday, the UK got gyms back open. And you and I have both gone through our fitness journeys and discovering that that's what we need for our sanity. And for people that want to say that you can work out at home, yeah. But let me tell you something. I had to borrow with my trainer, Thomas Bothway, and I was humbled immediately when I tried to do a front squat, and it scared the bejesus out of me. So what do we do since our friends don't want to listen? How do we protect ourselves for those that are in the same position as we are?
So I think we need to break this down anthropologically, right? And maybe that's the right word. I don't know. It might not be. But America is a country that lives for the weekends, right?
Yes.
We're not like the rest of the world that has learned a work-life balance that allows you to work and then have your downtime. Where we're a country that self-medicates with food. We're a country that you're saluted for working to the point where you have hypertension and all sorts of stress and anxiety disorders. And then we invent apps where you can talk into your phone to someone who tells you it's okay that you're doing this. And then we're diffusing essential oils and thinking that we're all better, right? This is the country that we live in, where you're rewarded for killing yourself in this capacity, right? So that being said, when the summertime hit, the summertime feels like the endless Friday, right? Like, I deserve this. I deserve you. You ever have those people in work lives are making sure that we can work smart and not hard, right? Like, we don't subscribe to the 4 cubicle walls and all that stuff because we would just perish. So we make it a point to design lives that we can work on a Saturday and not feel bad because we probably didn't work on a Tuesday, right? Like, we don't have to do those things. And when our energy is getting, overspent, we meditate, we do yoga, we do the things. But most people, right? It's the weekend is like, they latch onto it. Friday, like happy hour. And the whole idea of summer Fridays, you reward someone with letting them leave at noon to have 5 extra hours of sunlight, right? So summer became the endless weekend. So when the summer hit and these people were being told, because most people are working virtually, right? they're still there doing their thing unless they're essential workers and they've been working throughout. So you're being told to now sit in your house like you did from March to June. And it's the weekend thing. No, I got to get out. I got to get out. I've earned this. And I hear people I see people putting up posts on Facebook. I'm going to have a summer if it kills me. And I'm like, coronavirus is like challenge accepted. Right. And I think the logic is, you know, you want to say to people, what's a couple of months for the rest of your life, right? Like, take this L now. Do things, sit in your house, read books. And that's easy for me to say because that's my job is to sit in my house and read books and write them, right? Like, it's easy for me to say. And that does come from a position of privilege in many capacities, right? But
I just think, well, I'm going to just ask this and put this out there. And if you have a comment, please say something, share something. I think one of the big things that we've talked about and that I'm just worried about, and I talk to my friends all the time, and you know, it's also been another extra amazing gift that like everybody's ancestors want to come visit my altar and have me deliver a message to their freaking my friends nowadays.
My medium business is going up. I was like, everyone
is on. I particularly have, and I hope my friend doesn't mind this, Arlene Peterson dad be coming up in here for no reason. And I'll be like, bro,
yo, do you feel like Whoopi Goldberg?
You don't need me, man. Like go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like Whoopi and Ghost when everybody was in the room and they're just all talking and you're just sitting there and you're just like, and I've been like sending the messages to my friends like, hey, listen, your aunt is in the room and you know that coloring book that she gave you when you were 5, she said you know to check page 15 and then you turned to page 15 and it was a message from her, you know. I'm just like,
yeah, like I'm kind of like, yo, like why are you here? The point is that as a humanist and as someone who has been given this gift, whether she likes it or not, we are not headed in a good direction. And that's something that really freaks me out. And I don't want people to think that I'm being hyper negative. I'm going to be all right. You're going to be okay. And I've made it a point to make sure that my friends and my family are okay. I can't worry about everybody else. I hope you're listening to this show. But like, yo, like we in trouble. And so I really just want people to take this moment to not, I'm a regular person. I like fur coats. I threaten to go back to pork every day so that I can stop having 5%ers and hoteps hollering at me on Instagram. I don't want that. I want you to have a savings account somewhere, and I want you to be able to rent a car and not have your credit be that bad to where you can't. So if that's you, don't talk to me. You're over 6'1" to ride. But you know, like I just, if you could tell someone right now with the minutes that you have, and I know I want to get to your book, and then I know you have to get on with your day. How do you tell people in our age bracket and younger, hey, like, what the F are you doing? Like, how are you breaking it down so that someone listens? Now, if someone's on the 5G Corona thing, I just consider them lost and I don't engage anymore. So,
right.
Yeah.
So the thing that I say is most people who are in our age bracket remember the AIDS epidemic to an extent, right?
Right.
And the sort of weird running joke was, hey, imagine if AIDS was airborne. Well, that's what this is. This is a disease. This is not a respiratory disease. It's a vascular disease that attacks your immune system. And that's what we're learning. That's why people being intubated aren't surviving, because you're opening up respiratory openings you're opening the lung capacity. That's not what this is. This is a vascular disease that attacks your body and slowly destroys your immune system, which is why in clinical trials, they're not allowing people to be on PrEP, the HIV drug, because of how many similar properties it has. The HIV virus is like the coronavirus. AIDS is COVID-19. Think of it like that, right? Granted, there's recovery, but you could still be carrying it. Or think of it like Epstein-Barr and mono. If you need to turn it into something, or you need to wire your brain to understand how one affects the other, do that. And that's what I've been kind of doing, because there's a lot of caution shaming happening now, where people are talking to you like you're suddenly agoraphobic, or have you gone out at all, or you getting out enough? And it's like, I'm getting out enough for someone who doesn't want to catch this, or who doesn't want to be a carrier to kill somebody. I heard a story yesterday of someone who is in the hospital and they don't know how they caught it because they've been home, but their husband has it. So, and he didn't have any symptoms. So, and this person has no pre-existing condition. So we're hearing all these stories. But the thing that I say is, listen, that little joke about imagine if AIDS was airborne, we're watching it happen right now. And that's what I've been saying to the younger people. I just keep trying to say, if you got to take it back to March, it's like, listen, you might kill your grandparents. And believe me, I don't have any grandparents anymore, and it sucks. Like, if that's how you have to wrap your brain around it, you wrap your brain around it that way.
Thank you. I hope people are taking this little moment seriously. I tried not to be like serious Betty on the morning show, but I just had to like let that slide a little bit, and be a little honest about where we are. But I do want to talk about, and let's get to it, your book. I would love for you. I have two libraries, one in my living room and one here. I'm going to let you take on and talk about it while I get it so I can Vanna Black the experience for you in a proper way that you do.
Vanna Black.
So please tell the world about God Save.
So God Save the Queens is the essential history of women in hip hop, is a book that released in hardcover in October 2019. We're re-releasing it in November as a paperback, and essentially it travels through the 4 decades of hip hop and where women fit into that narrative, and they're incredibly important throughout every piece of history and hip hop, and obviously the world. But the way that I open the book is discussing how the first party that happened at 1520 Sedgwick was actually the idea of Kool Herc's sister Cindy, and starting with a woman and leading all the way up to Megan Thee Stallion. So I kind of travel through this whole history of women in hip hop, and then I insert little interludes about other things that have happened, like dissection of the word bitch, and just little pieces of the Foxy Brown and Little Kim war, I guess you could call it. But at the heart of it, it just shows the struggles, the triumphs, the music, the mentors, the idea there can only be one. And I think, again, the thing that's kind of crazy is that we're watching this happen now with Megan Thee Stallion. When I wrote the book, I wrote the book at a really terrible point in my life where my mother was sick. She was fighting cancer. And when I handed in the book, she passed away. And as an added, within a couple of weeks, I guess you could say, of looking at the book again, I left out so much had changed in hip hop. And this is the point where Meg was rising. So I went ahead and I spoke with Meg, and I added a couple more points to the book. So it's very timely. I tried to be as thorough as possible. There was a lot of artists that I couldn't include. And that was also a really funny thing where I think with hip hop, and I'll wait for Mary to get back, but with hip hop, when it comes to women in hip hop, when you're speaking about, there's always some obscure artist that fans will want to reference. Like, did you make sure you included that person? And that always made me laugh, because I think about just like books that encompass all of hip hop history, and you don't ask about the obscure male acts. So it was just one of those things where I've been challenged by mainly men asking me, like, did you include the Deadly Venoms? Like, I mean, and I tried to mention them. Like, I mean, my cutting room floor is like sick. Like, I went in, like, I was talking about Nana Cherry and, all these artists, But it's really funny how it's like men are the ones who kind of challenge, like, well, did you go into detail about nonchalant? It's like, I play 5 o'clock in the morning every day. Sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning. Where are we going with this? You know?
Ooh, yeah, I think that like one of the good things I like about your book, which I just realized I let a friend read to her daughter, which was so cute.
Oh,
This girl wants to be a rapper. And, you know, I'm just kind of like, look, let her read this so she knows what she's in for. This happened like a month ago. Hopefully they ain't got COVID on it. So I might need to buy another one.
I'll just send you another one. I got like the whole bookshelf.
But yours was signed. You signed it. I want that one back. But like, and I know you have a re-release coming in the fall. And you also have a tarot deck that you're working on.
Yes, an oracle deck.
Don't make me do your PR. So let's go. What are we doing?
Please. I mean, this is it's the Hip Hop Queens oracle deck, and I selected. I'm just reading Tracy Cooper's fan. Oh my God, not the Deadly Venoms. Yes, that actually happened to me. Happened.
Tracy Cooper is the most in touch woman that is over 50 that you will ever meet in your life. Her ear is to the streets.
I love it.
Literally. So y'all need to, like, just because you're over 50 don't mean you don't know what sounds crazy.
Tracy gets it though. Tracy's like, they did not. I'm not the Deadly Venoms. I could name like some of the obscure artists, like, well, how many chapters did you dedicate to the Conscious Daughters? I love the Conscious Daughters, right? Like, but yeah. So Hip Hop Queens Oracle deck. The deck connects with different women in hip hop, and then a couple of hip hop adjacent women. I had to include my girl Aaliyah in the deck because I'm currently writing the Aaliyah book, and
a small flex. Small flex.
So. But what the cool part about it is, as someone who actually reads, not books, like an oracle card reader, a tarot reader, who actually throws cards, I was able to combine those two worlds, the metaphysical world and the hip hop world, in a way that no other pop culture adjacent deck has actually ever been, because usually it's all of one or all of the other, right? It's usually just cute flashcards or something that's just so incredibly insular that if you're a fan of the music and you're holding up these cards, you're like, what does this card mean? Like, yeah. So what I did was I connected each card to the personality, the career trajectory, and the spirit of the person. So it keeps to all of the rules of oracle decks with women attached to those meanings. So I'm really excited. We're working through just the illustrations now, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be really cool because it'll be timed with the Aaliyah book. And
when is all this coming out?
So Aaliyah comes out in August of 2021, the 20th anniversary of her passing, and the oracle cards come shortly thereafter. So
it's been so long since Aaliyah has not been here. That's wild.
Well, I think it's so wild because everywhere you turn, a new artist is acting exactly like Aaliyah.
Almost definitely. I remember in Detroit, we didn't like Sierra for a certain amount of time because we thought she was trying to be Aaliyah. This is a fact, by the way. You can ask anybody from Detroit that we had a little bit of an aversion to Sierra, who now is prophetess because she knows how to capture a guy that isn't trash she knows something we don't know. So I just put that out there. I gotta admit it where I know, but
and when Sierra did the Matrix in that video, that's when it was like, okay, like I remember my turning point for Sierra. It was the same as my turning point with Jay-Z. Because remember that time where they were like that Jay-Z was like specifically planted to kill hip hop and all that other stuff like years and years ago.
Oh,
yeah. So a lot of people don't remember the conspiracy theories of like the mid to late 90s where it was like, what now is just called the Illuminati. He was designed to come and kill hip hop. I'm like, what? You know?
I can't wait to do my series on conspiracy theories I actually believe.
Oh my gosh.
So.
I want to be part of that too, because, you know, there's so many that we talk about. We're like, well, you know. We don't even just add
like, yes. I'm like, no, it's not, but okay. I do that conspiracy, but
well, we're like, that's what you think.
To the 5G one, cool. I got a couple that blow your mind. Kathy, I'm so proud of you. Your mother
I'm
is
so
very
proud of you too. Can we just take a moment to talk about you for 5 seconds? Because you're always talking and not enough.
I was like, what you trying to do?
Like, let's talk about just all of the things that you're doing in the world and how I can't check my browser without someone turning to you for expertise in so many different worlds. And the fact that, like, you are leading the cannabis industry, an industry that has never allowed Black people, especially Black women, to penetrate. Okay. And you're out here just changing the game. And I just have to honor that. We have to honor that, because you're the person who I remember, like a year or two ago, was it? You said, this isn't working for me. I think I'm gonna pivot. I think I'm gonna do something, right?
Yeah, I did. I told you that.
And you're like, I think I'm gonna, you know, this cannabis thing. And for most people, that just means smoking a lot of weed. And you're just like, no, I think I'm gonna roll this joint and take over.
You know, I didn't even go in it with that. I was just kind of like, you know, seeing how it helped my mom transition, how it helped me. And you were there when I was really going through it with Crohn's, you know, like, I just believe in the medicinal properties of it. And
you healed yourself. Like,
and,
thank
you know,
God.
I'm healing myself. It's not complete, but, you know, like, I think that, and thank you. I have a hard time I've gotten better, but I have a hard time accepting compliments about myself. I've gotten better.
Yeah.
But I just pivoted because I see what's happening now, and I can't wait to do another episode on the pivot. AV is going to be my guest tomorrow. So we're going to talk about pivoting all over the place. But yo, pivot wise, if I was still working in advertising or media, I wouldn't have a job right now.
No.
There's no way I would have anything I would be able to do right now. It's facts. And the fact that I've been able to bring my good friends who were there for me when I was really sick in with me, so that they, like, I didn't know that I would even be able to do that. So, you know, like, it's, you know, like I said, my dad and my grandmothers and my grandfathers and my mom, they're doing a lot of extra work for the time that they were not able to be here for a lot of things. But, like, it's not easy. You and I are both, like, self-sustainable machines. We will figure it out. We'll make the money out of it. Like, I'm blessed that I have friends that I can help. Their parent, like, there's so many blessings within this that I am definitely universally benefiting from. So I don't want anyone to think that, like, this is hard, you know. I remember when I emailed my PR friends to help me get PR for what I was doing 2 years ago, and nobody got back to me, and I was willing to pay. And people think that I've had PR this entire time, and it wasn't until maybe a month or so ago where a mentor in cannabis took us on for free.
Wow.
I don't have PR. I just try to be a good person. And I also know how to write. And, you know, when you've helped the EIC of a publication with their mom who is sick, or you've helped a homegirl use RSO oil for their condition, that's not PR. That's called being a fucking human being.
You helped my mom. You got her the CBD she needed at the time that she needed it. I mean, that's just what you do. But you know, that's what Black women do.
Yeah, we do it all. And then we get shot in the
yeah,
face.
and you know, you just always.
Thank you. I didn't know you were gonna say that. Trying to get my feelings. Anyway,
Pisces.
Kathy, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for making time.
Oh,
In closing, this is all on us, y'all. Like, I encourage you to do what you can to make this time as beneficial as possible. If you need to go outdoors, I get it. But like, you know, America's #1 for being really, really horrible on a lot of things right now. And I live here. I don't subscribe to a lot of the cultural aspects of this country. But like, yo, we don't want to be like, we want to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Us. So thank you. Thank you, Nichelle, for donating. I saw your donation. I want you to feel acknowledged. Thank you so much. Kathy, be safe. I know that you've created a Walmart in your home, much like me.
Oh my gosh. I bought a treadmill.
Aaliyah money.
No, please. It was on sale money. It's a little teeny, and I put it in my little doorway of this office, and that's my morning walk. If I'll go outside, but it's not, you know.
Yeah, I've heard a mega corner to get ready for the fact that we might end up back in the house, and I'm also looking to move to Jersey by October. More on that later. I'm out of here.
Thank God.
I'm out. Either Jersey or Washington. That's been what's been showing up in my dreams. And October is a crucial date for a lot of things. So, you know.
And listen to Mary when she says these things, people. When Mary says, hey, friends, make sure you change your passwords. Hey, friends, make sure you stock up on groceries. Hey, friends, listen to Mary. Listen to her, please.
Yeah, I've been kind of like weird.
Oh no, I love it because I already know when you put the hi, and I'm like, here it comes. I'm ready.
Go out, do what you got to do. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
Cheers. So everybody, that is the show. We went over. Thank you for staying around. The 19 people that I see. You don't think I can see that you've been leaving? That hurts. Again, try to keep it 40 minutes. I did not do that. Don't judge me. I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. With a new set of topics and some new segments. And I just really appreciate the space. I'm grateful again to everyone who's like allowed me to create a new skill and a new way of like being someone that can be seen as a voice to people that I care about and that I love. And please be safe, y'all. Like, please stay well. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye.